Inside each of us, there exists a forgotten room, a cold, silent chamber where we have sworn never to set foot. We locked this door during the fragile years of our early childhood, the very moment we internalized the world's most bitter truth, that we are only worthy of love when we are good, when we are quiet, when we are selfless, and when we are predictable. The very second you learn to manufacture a fake smile to mask a rising resentment, or suppressed a primal cry to avoid the label of being weak, you birthed your shadow. Carl Jung, the pioneer who dared to navigate the sunless basements of the human psyche, once defined it simply: the shadow is that which a person does not wish to be. It is the personification of our exile. This shadow is a vast, subterranean storehouse for every quality you have disowned and discarded: your ancient rage, your biting envy, your untamed selfishness, and your most incorrect desires. Yet, here lies the great alchemical irony that modern man has forgotten: gold never lies upon the surface. The most profound treasures of your being are buried right there, beneath the layers of what you call your evil. Your innate charisma, your primal vitality, and your unshakable confidence are not found in your polite social mask. They are dormant in the depths you fear most. Today we descend. We go down not to slay monsters, but to recognize them as our kin. For as long as you flee from your shadow, it will continue to script your life from the darkness, and you, out of habit, will simply call it fate. To truly understand the shadow, we must first confront the mask, the persona. The persona is the I you painstakingly construct for public consumption. It is your curated social media profile, your polite professional voice, and your role as the reliable friend. It is the armor we wear to navigate the world, but over time, we begin to mistake the armor for the skin beneath it. The process of modern upbringing is, essentially, a process of psychological amputation. Society whispers, "Be kind, don't be greedy, never show your teeth." Every time you severed a piece of unacceptable behavior to fit in, that piece did not vanish into the ether. It fell into the abyss of the unconscious, where it began to ferment, grow limbs, and develop a life of its own. Imagine your psyche is a vast, magnificent castle of infinite corridors and secret halls. Yet, you have chosen to inhabit only one tiny, brightly lit room, terrified of the shadows in the hallways. Over time, these abandoned sectors of your soul begin to take on a frightening, independent existence. They become the ghosts that haunt your thoughts and the demons that sabotage your success. Repressed energy never truly evaporates, it only transforms. It accumulates in the dark until it reaches a breaking point, manifesting as what psychologists call effects. Have you noticed how a harmless remark from a colleague can suddenly trigger a flash of uncontrollable, scorching rage? That is not a reaction to the present. It is a leak from the pressure cooker of your suppressed history. Or perhaps you find yourself falling into a sudden, gray depression without a visible cause. This is often the shadow knocking on the ceiling of your conscious mind. It is tired of being locked away in the cold. It is begging, shouting, to be seen, to be heard, and to be integrated back into the light of your awareness. When we deny the shadow, we lose our vital wholeness. We become flat and hollow, drained of the very life force required for true creation. It takes a colossal amount of mental energy to keep that basement door bolted shut every single day. Imagine what you could achieve if that energy was no longer spent on suppression, but was instead directed toward your highest ambitions. Integration is the path to reclaiming your wasted power. The shadow is, by its very nature, invisible to our direct internal gaze. We cannot simply look into a mirror and see it. However, the human psyche possesses an almost magical detection mechanism, the phenomenon of projection. The world around you is a giant cinema screen upon which your subconscious projects everything you have hidden from yourself. Your triggers are your map. Think of the person who triggers an instant, visceral irritation in you. Does their arrogance infuriate you? Their laziness? Their obsessive need to be the center of attention? Stop and observe that reaction. Why does it sting so much? More often than not, what disturbs us most in others is exactly the quality we have forbidden ourselves from expressing. Your shadow is screaming through the mirror of the other. It cries out, "Why are they allowed to be loud or selfish or bold while I am forced to be small?" But your consciousness, desperate to protect your ideal image, translates this cry into a sense of righteous indignation. Your enemies are actually your most loyal teachers, wearing the clothes of your own disowned shadow. If you want to recover the gold you've hidden, you must be brave enough to look at your list of grievances against the world. Every trait you despise in your neighbor is a trail of breadcrumbs leading back to your own basement. To judge another is often to judge the parts of yourself you haven't had the courage to face. This realization is the beginning of true wisdom. Now we enter the heart of the work, the alchemy. Why do we call these golden treasures? Because in its raw, primordial state, the shadow is pure energy, devoid of any moral sign. It is neither good nor bad. It is simply power. The alchemy of the soul is the process of taking the lead of a suppressed trait and smelting it into the gold of a unique talent. Consider the trait of anger. You were likely taught that anger is a sign of failure or a lack of self-control. So, you became convenient. But without access to healthy aggression, you are defenseless. You cannot set boundaries. You cannot say no. The gold hidden in your anger is your decisiveness. When integrated, your rage turns into a calm, granite-like strength that protects your peace. You no longer need to scream to be heard when you have integrated your anger. You simply become someone with whom one cannot act unjustly. Your anger becomes a steady heat that powers your convictions rather than a wildfire that consumes your life. This is the difference between a person who is nice out of fear and a person who is kind out of strength. Now look at envy. We consider it a petty, poisonous emotion, but envy is the most honest compass of the soul. You never envy a stranger for a talent you don't care about. You only envy those who are doing what you were meant to do. The gold here is self-knowledge. Your envy is a signaling system pointing directly toward your unmanifested potential and your truest desires. Once integrated, envy stops being a poison and becomes a roadmap. Instead of resenting the success of others, you begin to use them as mirrors to clarify your own path. You ask, what part of their life is my soul longing for? Once you have the answer, the envy dissolves, leaving behind the raw fuel of ambition and the clarity to move forward. Even vanity holds a secret treasure. The person who has suppressed the desire to be noticed often appears gray and lifeless. They apologize for the space they occupy, but by accepting your thirst for attention, you reclaim your natural charisma. You gain the permission to be magnetic and influential, not to fill an internal void, but to share your unique light with the world. We must also address the golden shadow. Many of us do not only hide our dark traits, we hide our greatest strengths because we fear the responsibility that comes with them. We hide our brilliance, our leadership, and our genius because being average feels safe and comfortable. We suffer from a fear of the heights, preferring the valley of the known to the peak of the possible. Your ego might be afraid of failure, but your shadow is often holding on to the very power you need to succeed. To reclaim this golden shadow, you must ask yourself, what am I afraid would happen if I were truly powerful? Who would I disappoint if I were truly happy? The answers to these questions are the keys to the treasure chest you've left unguarded for decades. But how do we perform this alchemy without letting the darkness consume us? How do we open the door to the basement without the monsters taking over the whole house? Integration is not about indulging your impulses. It is about witnessing them. It is the shift from being the victim of your shadow to being the master of your internal landscape. The first step is radical honesty. You must create a space where you can be a villain without consequences. This is the purpose of a shadow journal. In these pages, you are allowed to be cruel, petty, and selfish. You must write the thoughts you would never dare to say out loud. When you name a shadow trait, you strip it of its invisibility cloak and its power. Step 2 is the internal dialogue. Treat the shadow as a subpersonality, a younger, wounded version of yourself that was once told to be quiet. If you feel a wave of laziness, don't fight it with discipline. Instead, sit with it. Ask it, what are you trying to protect me from? You may find that your laziness is actually a rebellion against a life that no longer fits you. Step 3 is microdosing. Start manifesting your shadow qualities in small, controlled ways. If you have always been the nice guy, try returning a cold meal at a restaurant or saying no to a minor request without giving an excuse. Feel the energy of the assertive shadow moving through your veins. You will find that you don't become a monster. You simply become more flexible. This process requires what the ancients called metanoia, a fundamental shift in mind. You must stop seeing yourself as a finished product and start seeing yourself as an alchemical process. You are the lead, the furnace, and the gold, all at once. The pain of integration is simply the heat required to melt the mask so the true face can emerge. Wholeness is not the same as perfection. Perfection is a static, dead state. It is a plastic decoration. Wholeness, however, is dynamic and visceral. It is the inclusion of the light and the dark, the saint and the sinner. When you become whole, you stop being a good person and start being a real person. Real people are dangerous to the status quo because they cannot be manipulated through shame. The world is currently paralyzed by a crisis of fragmentation. Everyone is trying to be only light, while their suppressed darkness creates chaos in the world through projection and conflict. By doing this individual work, you are performing the most radical act of rebellion possible. You are lowering the amount of unconscious darkness in the world. Peace begins in the basement of your own castle. Do not fear your shadow. Fear living your entire life without ever knowing the full spectrum of what you are capable of. As the ancient sages whispered, where you stumble, there lies your treasure. Look into the dark room. Breathe into the shame. The monsters have been waiting for you to come home, to recognize them, and to give them a seat at your table. It is time to turn on the light and reclaim your inheritance.